Hello, hello. Bear with. Is everything working okay? I think it is. Hopefully it is. Hmm. Carl Creates, ahoy! How are you? Hello, hello. Hiya. How is everybody? All alright? Don't mind me. Slightly later than usual, but I sound fine. Oh, that's good. Good, how are you? I'm not too bad, thank you. Our props lurk, that's fine, not a problem. Just gotta work my way, gotta get into this. Quite a big task ahead of me. So we shall see how it goes. Could be awful. Hopefully not. Just gonna shut my phone up, hang on. Right. Okay, so we are building. I'm good. Chilling and beer-ing. Oh, good. Nice. Sounds like a plan. So yeah, following that poll I did, the Age of Empires were kind enough to retweet on Twitter. It got quite a lot of interest, and the Viking Wonder is the one that won, so we're going to be trying to build that. I don't know if I'll be able to do this in a single stream, or if this is going to take me ages, or if I'll do it quite quickly, really. I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to do it, like I always do. Always try and do a little think beforehand of how I'm going to attack something. And some of the elements of this are going to be pretty difficult, I think. Hopefully not completely difficult, or completely impossible, I should say. But we'll see. So yeah, I'm just going to try and get the sort of basic shape done first, I think. And then once that's good, start adding a few more details. I don't know what I'm going to do about the tiles because they look ridiculous to do. So we'll see. Right, that bit there is slightly higher than the first level. Something, if that's the first one, it's probably about there. And the angle is slightly bigger there than it is here. So it's probably around there. Bonjour, Mr. Jason. Bonjour, Mr. Roth. Or Mr. Matt, even. Your what is slightly bigger? The angle of the roof, sir. How dare you come in here and talk smut? Yeah. I might be really slow to start with on this, so don't... Again, I've gone over it a few times on how I'm going to do this, but it still might struggle. Right, there needs to be a little offset inside there. And then we've got the bottom piece. Well, whilst Vic is quiet, I shall continue. She's just going to be lurking, I think. That's fucking rude. Steps. Yeah, what's all that about? I saw something briefly about it. Ooh, I wonder if I can just get away doing that. I might be able to. let's have a look here. And if you just extend those bits out, then we're kind of already doing that bit. Just needs to be wider there. She's got a tiny little gap at the bottom, and it's probably the same with this bit here as well. She's googling right now. Already got my pre-sale code, that's why. New torrent album, new song comes out tomorrow. Living that steps life, honey. Fair enough. Whatever floats your boat. Right, that's not quite a square. It's thinner on this top part. Along those sorts of lines, I think. One thing I haven't set this file up with is the camera yet, which might be a problem because that'll probably help a lot seeing the camera. Let's get that out of the way because I don't need that for now. Actually, let's just delete that. Get rid of it entirely. Right, let's do a little save. Let me open up one of my other models and steal the camera out of it. There it is. Okay, I can definitely scale that up a bit. And let's make this a square instead. 1920, and we can, yeah, scale that up a bit more. But yes, going quiet now till another unprovoked attack from Matt. Still very rude. How dare he? Let me scale that bit up a tiny bit. So I'm not too sure what to do with these bits yet. Let me just make sure that... Right, that's wrong. So I need to snap to there and to there. For what it's worth, I might as well do that side as well, just so it looks all nice. Because then we're going to have the sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, little balcony type area up here. So I need to inset this slightly. Actually, let me do that at the same time as this part, because then... Oh, do I do that now or do I do that later? You know what? There's going to be a lot of faffing with this one. So you basically have this little out part. Would I be able to do that by... yeah, I should be able to. If I grab another two lines, I'll and relax. No, it's fine, you don't have to. So this bit's a bit wider than the rest. I don't know if this is going to add up when I do all these little archways and stuff, but I suppose it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so then I should be able to just do this. And that kind of gives me the front area. Does that need to be any thinner? Just a tad, maybe. Trying to look at these sizes. So you've got 2 here and you've got about 2 there as well. These gaps here and here, they're about the same, so I think I'll run with that. And the one thing I need to do here, how shall I do this? Observe the brilliance. I hope you're not on about me, because that's not true. I've got to make a square. How should I do this? Actually, let's get rid of that. Let's put the 3D cursor there, make a cube, and scale it down so that it's about the right size, and then I can just shift it in roughly the right place. And if I just match all of these sides, and then this should be going into the side of the roof just a little bit like that. Now this is going to mess up a few things, so I need to fix that, and I should be able to combine these into one object. I just did the complete wrong thing. Clean up, merge by distance, and we need to get rid of that face in there. I can get rid of that one in there as well. And then that leaves me with a nice perfect square to do this part of the roof on. So that's good. There's some edges that are doubled up there by the looks of things. Oh, maybe not. I think it just looks weird because of how I've put it together. Never mind, that shouldn't be a problem. Right, the next thing I can do, because that is... oh no, that's a lie. Better do this side part first. So, what we got? We've got another 2. And where they are already is going to be roughly the right place, maybe? No, this front part's a lot wider. So, let's make this whole thing wider. The top part's going to be its own thing, so... them 2 are fine. This needs widening a tad, so that it almost matches this angle here, I think. Yep, slightly shallower. It's around there, I think. Then I can get this part and move that out just a little bit, and bring out these 2 front parts a bit further. So they're about the same as these here. It's about there, I think. And how should I do this? So this pitch of the roof needs to go up to here, and then we can just squash that in. Doesn't need to be a perfect point. And can bring that in there. And then that gives us that little area, which I think is about right. The whole object could probably slightly stretched, so it becomes a little taller. That's about there on the bottom section. I don't know if these sort of mirror over. I don't think this does, this side, but that might mirror over the other side. But like what I usually do with these Age of Empires ones, I'm just going to leave that for now. Because you won't see it, so it seems almost pointless to spend time building something you won't see. Let me just check that distance. Yep, that should be fine. And now what I can do, as this is the floor, yep, we want to make a gap there, and we want to do the same over here. That should leave us with gaps for the doorways, and I should be able to then grab this one. Oh, let's grab the top of this roof as well. These 2 roofs, and inset them so to make this little, this little like wall that's inside. So I might end up swapping a lot of this stuff out later on as it becomes more detailed. It might become sort of redundant. But we'll see how it goes. So how high is this? It's a bit higher than this, isn't it? It's about the same, maybe. Probably about there. Now, another thing I can do is probably grab all of these and try and recreate the roof at the top by oh no, delete only the faces, and then if I could connect these parts here, I wonder this might not work. Let's try it. Got an idea of what I want to do with it. Let me just get rid of these and rid of them. Now if I extrude these as two separate things, then I should be able to make these two roofs separately. I don't know where that's going to be positioned, because if I do the bottom first, it will give me an idea of where these arches go. You know what, that whole thing needs moving up a bit actually. Perhaps around there, but then now it looks a bit too low. Let's turn off snapping. Let's raise this up a bit. How am I going to do this? Let me grab the edges again. And then I can just drag all of these faces up at once, so they're a little bit higher. Right, that's probably a bit better. So now, that only wants to go up a tad. Well, maybe there. And I'll figure out this gap once I've done the bottom one. Right, this major roof on the top is quite huge. So let's try and get that about right. And then you've got the little roof as well. Just a little past halfway on it, on the bigger one. But they have about the same angle on them, both. So maybe that's a bit steeper than that. Yeah, probably around there. One thing I do need to do though is make... Or should I have done that in the first place? Might have done. Let me get rid of those. Let me start again. Because this whole roof needs to be slightly bigger than this, so that there's this overhang. Let me check actually, because if that comes up in here, then this whole roof maybe just overhangs either end. And the same with this one. So no, I think I was right. Never mind. Never mind. Carry on again. Yeah, I was pretty blown away with the response this got on Twitter to make this. I didn't think anyone would be that fussed. So I'm quite happy about that. Hello Spoonie, how you doing? Hope you're well. Yeah, we are just building some more Age of Empires stuff, as per. Just trying to figure out all the rough sort of sizes of everything. Trying to think, do I just extrude the roof now? Let's have a go. And what I should be able to do is just go like that, and then these edges here and here. Make sure it's selected those properly. It seems to have done. And we just want to extrude those outwards. Probably not that much. Probably a little less than that. Just a tiny bit. I'll make sure I can try and fit this in later, because that'll be tucked up in there. Then you'll have the roof, the tiles will be on the top as well. Yeah, I'll figure it out. How is everyone? Yeah, we're not doing too bad, I don't think. Hope yourself's doing alright. Every time I look at this, it looks a bit wrong, so I'm trying to figure out the distance. It's probably a bit more squashed than that. Yeah, it's probably more like that. Doesn't need to be perfect. As long as it looks something like it, then we are good to go. Okay, should be able to do this top part easily enough. Or maybe not, because it doesn't want to find those. That's fine. I can do that as its own object. Add a cube. I was hoping that would actually put that in the centre, but for some reason it hasn't. I don't know why it's not done that. Let me try and do that. There we go. Right, that's now in the centre of there. So that will be this little top tower. And we can do the same with that. So if I block all this out first, then I have a better idea where everything's going to sit later. So what I might do, there's a few roofs I've noticed that are the same, like this part of the roof here, or on this for example, is basically the same as this and here, so I might be able to sort of try and copy and paste a few times just to speed things up a bit, with a bit of luck. What I can do is just get rid of that for now and try this. No, we'll leave that as it was. When I start adding more detail, I'll start replacing these parts and go from there, I think. I'm not sure if I've made this difficult or easier for myself by making it all sort of together, and not making, say, the middle section and then this section and this section and this section all like separately and then sort of bolting it all together at the end. I might have made my life harder, but we'll see how we go. I'm trying to figure out where this is. That's got to be, this bit's level with there, so let's try and do that. Hello Rich, how you doing? Fancy the challenge? This looks proper complicated. I mean, it is pretty complicated, I won't lie. But yeah, I did want to try and give something else a go. Rather than the little Age of Empires houses, I thought, I mean, the wonders are more interesting to look at as well, so. Okay, so there is the general gist of the whole building done. Now it's just detailing the whole thing, which is going to be interesting, to say the least. Maybe stretch that way a little bit. I think that's okay how it is. What's it look like? As long as I'm happy with the rough shape, and then I can start going in and trying to detail things. I'm hoping I can mostly use what I've just built, and I won't have to. Oh, that's a better idea of what it will look like. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to try and go through and change these and edit it on this model rather than making loads of copies of the same sort of object. I don't know if that's going to make life easier or harder, so right, let's just try and get into it a little bit. What we got? We got 3 bits here, so let's just do something like that. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around here. And all I want to do is inset these parts slightly. I just completely forgot the key I was using then. Don't mind me. Probably just want to do the outside first. I'm trying to think, is it easier to... It might be easier to just extrude rather than inset just the top parts. Like just a tiny bit. Oh no, it reversed them. Why did it do that? Ah, I know why. I think this is something I figured out. It's probably the face orientation. There you go. Oh, this is always a pain in the arse. So what do I need to do? I need to grab all of this, and one thing that will help this is deleting this bottom part and filling in that bottom part, and then I should be able to just select the whole thing, and somewhere up here, I think is it normals, recalculate outside, and it should all be blue now, other than where, yeah, that's fine, because that's going to be like that anyway. Cool. Everything else should be fine. I can get rid of this little speck here, this little face. Don't know why it's joined it up along that side. Let me just redo that. No. There we go. So now, try again. If I do that again, a bit of luck, it'll extrude these edges properly. Just a tiny bit. Yeah, it's done that right. So I can get rid of that now. Face orientation, I can turn that off. Yeah, that's been a killer in the past, the face orientation thing, because you'll try and extrude a face and it'll extrude it sort of inwards rather than outwards because it thinks it's an outside face or an inside face, or sort of vice versa. It can get quite bloody annoying. So I want to do the same sort of thing with these, just extrude those a bit. The roofs will be fine. They need these little wooden bits on the end, which I might do the long way. The slats on the roof, they can be done by hand later. And the same down here, because that's going to basically be, this part here is just a smaller version of that. Don't mind me, just need to have a look at this for a sec. One thing I have cocked up with doing that, I just need to try to imitate this area here. So let me select all of these again and untick these ones, and then select just these top ones instead, and then that should give, hopefully that'll work. Yep, that's fine. So another thing I want to do is just inset probably this little bit up here. Just grab these and just slightly do that. Yeah, all these beams on the side, that'll be easy enough to do. I don't know what to do about the tiles. It might be one of them that's just awful to do on stream. So I might, depending on, I'll do them last. Depending on what the time is and everything. We shall see how we go. Now, I should probably make these little things on the end. Is there another one of those? Yeah, I suppose. Could I just get away with using the same thing there? That one's just a bit wider. I think I probably could. Make sure the 3D cursor's in the centre. And I'll just build one of these. So let me move my reference picture. Usually I have loads of reference pictures from loads of sketches and that I've done. And I've done a little sketch to the side of me that was, I kind of exploded the whole model and just sort of sketched out how I might put it together. But I've kind of thrown out that whole idea anyway already, so yeah, we're going for this way instead. So that's about there, I suppose. Maybe a little bit higher than that. And we got the little roof on it. Now, how am I going to do these, I probably could just do this. Yeah, if I do that, and then what I can do is grab this entire top part, extrude that as one object, and then slightly off the end. Is that going to work? Let me just try. So I want to try and make that little, there's a lip just on the inside here. And I'm hoping if I just do that, then that kind of sorts that issue out, because I can just do that. And then all of these slats on the roof, I'm going to do kind of like how I did the Red Dead tiles. And then just slightly inset all of the tiles and, well, wooden slats, extrude them. And then if I go on individual origins, I should be able to rotate them all like that. And I can tuck those back in a bit. It kind of makes them look like slats. And they're not going to be exactly the same this side, but they'll be close enough. Do the same sort of thing. And just do that. And then slightly inset them. Just move those back out again. Again, you probably won't really see that side, so it probably doesn't matter too much. Will you see it? Just a tiny bit. Excuse me. What I might do is just... I'm probably going to end up going way too detailed with this, but as I always do with these things, just move those out slightly so that you can see a bit of that on the end. You've got wooden bits on the side, either side. It's probably... that needs to move up a tad. Hi Jason, how you doing? Building is coming along nicely. Hello Kev, yeah, I'm not too bad. How's yourself? Yeah, no, it's actually the shape of it's come together quite quickly. I think it's just going to be the long part is going to be doing some of the details on this one, because you've got like these bits of the roof that are like just solid beams almost, and then you've got these that are like kind of similar to the tiles, but they're on the corners. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do those yet, but we shall get there. Right, let me just inset that bit a tiny bit, and then we can push that backwards to there. Yeah. Then I can try to see where... I just do that to speed things up a bit. Let me extrude all these down. So then what we've got is, no, don't press play, whoops. I can extrude these a tiny bit, and then it's just these two on the corner that need extruding then. I don't know why the 3D cursor's decided to just move then. So we get that sort of bit. But yeah, then you got... there's two wooden planks coming outside here. Now, what's it like on this top one? Yeah, it's got a similar thing, so I could probably reuse this. And I'm just going to extrude those bits out. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm going to leave that as it is. Let me grab this middle part. And I'm going to put in some circular sort of wooden beams, I suppose. Let's put a few less faces on these so that they look a bit more... Again, I say low poly, this is going to end up being probably really high again. Never mind. Let me take that around. 2 of these wooden beams in. There's one right at the bottom there. So we'll just remove that one back there. That is pretty much how that looks. What I'm going to do is just quickly extrude these bottom tiles out a little bit, because I like that little overhang. Now, as I'm going to be probably copying that and using it at on the other side, it's probably best for me to just leave it for now, because what I can do is colour it later and then I can just shift it up there. I think one thing I want to do quickly is just use the proportional editing to round off the roof so it's not completely flat. Looks a bit more interesting then. So that's cool. Let's do a save. I might need some more water. Gonna check out some of the museums tomorrow, Jace. I'm excited to geek out on your discoveries. Yeah, no, there were some pretty good ones on there, to be honest. I had a look again at the Scottish one we were on about, and there isn't as many like natural history things in there. It's more like kind of the British Museum was, from what I've seen anyway. So I don't know if that's... I don't know if we want to keep it like UK based, or if we do want to go abroad. I'm good, mate, thank you. Got a commission coming in, so happy about that. Oh, that's good that you got some work coming in, mate. I know you said you were quiet the other day. Or I was going to have to go sell myself on the street this month. As long as there is a whale to draw, I'm happy. Fair enough. Yeah, I think I would like to try and draw some like dinosaur skeletons. I think that's probably what I'll be drawn to if we end up doing a natural history doodle club online, which I might actually be streaming if I can get another camera set up. Right, these little bits on the top of the roofs, they're going to be okay to do. I think I know how I'm going to do them. These top beams, that's fine as well. I might try and do... what's going to be the next hardest thing to do? I mean, all these angle parts don't make my life easy, and obviously the tiles are horrendous, but I could perhaps start the tiles like I did on this one and on here. That top bit's going to be its own thing. Same here, can just use that there. Same with these. That shouldn't be a problem. And then you've got these little front parts, and I think this here is just a scaled down version of the scaled up version of this. Okay, we'll get there. Sorry for the just sort of like sitting around and figuring things out. It's probably not the most exciting thing to watch. I'm hoping I'll be able to get this done tonight. What's the time? Yeah, maybe. I might have to go a bit later than usual, so I don't know if people will want to be sticking around, but I'll try and get on with it. If I should be able to dissolve these edges so that it makes my life a bit easier, because I don't really want to separate the... I keep calling them tiles, they're just wooden planks. Delete. Dissolve edges. Yes, there we go. So as I'm doing the top bit as its own thing, what I can do this time is just include that top piece as its own tile, because it sits like as a cap over the top piece entirely. Yeah, I think a natural history one will get good fun, and yes, a doodle stream. Hopefully, it'd be cool to do. It won't have as many bells and whistles as your last one had that you did for the Doodle Club. That was very good. Now, okay, so I've extruded them. You know what? Let's not do that. Bin that off again. I've cocked something up because I need to make another little roof bit here. So should I just steal all this part here? I think I will. Or just the top part. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them maybe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just grab all that bit. So what I can do is just steal it and shift it down here. And hopefully it'll kind of be the right sizes, because it sits right at the front, and it is a little bit more. If I just scale it up and then scale it that way a bit, once it's got the cap on the top, then it'll be a bit more in line with the roof there. I don't think that's a problem. Yeah, you know what, I'll go with that. I think that's okay. Let me just snap that to... Is that not going to work? Snap it to this vertex. Damn it. It doesn't have to be perfect. If I just get it there or thereabouts, then we're good. Just going to fill in the bottom part. Don't really need to do that, I don't think, but... And then just this top bit as well. And then I'll repeat what I was doing a minute ago with the plank tile things. I've just realised that I've merged a face wrong. What's happened there? No. This face has gone all weird. I've obviously selected something wrong somewhere. Oh, bugger. Or have I? Or is it just looking weird? No, it is. No, let's just delete that face and start again. That should not look like that. We just grab those two there and those two up there, and then we are good to go. Thankfully, no murders today. At this point, it sounds a better option than trying to buy a place. Bloody house prices have me pulling my hair out. Oh, good. Fun times. Right, let's just select all of these, and then we're going to just inset them slightly, like before, and extrude them all out at once. And then just rotate all of these in the Y direction, so we get a little angle on them like that. And we'll do the same this side. Like so. And what I'm just going to quickly do is select all of these ones again, and then I'm just going to very slightly lower them. Just a tad. Cool, we have some roofs going on. I'll keep saving it. Cool, that's not too bad. Right, where are we at? So I have probably made this bit come out a little bit too far looking at that, but that's fine. It's still going to look there or thereabouts. I can just move this in a tiny bit, actually. Move that down a bit. So it's about there. Cool. Yeah, once this little bit's on and that's there, then it will be sort of around that area. I could just quickly scale that up a tad as well. That'll make it come a little bit closer. So yeah, we're going to reuse this up here, but it's going to have the same colouring on. So I'm going to do that once I've coloured it later. All of these caps on here, they're all pretty much the same across the board, but then you've got these little hoops in as well. That's fine, I think I know how I'm going to do those. What else have we got? There's this up here. Just trying to think how I could do this. If I extrude this whole thing, whoa, not that much. Just once. And then inset all these faces. And then extrude inwards slightly. then once the tiles are in there, then that'll be closer to how that looks there. Probably just do this little spike now. Now that I've done that, I'm not sure how high up that goes. I think it's a spike, isn't it? Yeah, more or less. Yeah, I don't think it goes up quite that high, so I can just bring that down a bit. Cool. That's that part done. I think I can do all these wooden planks in here almost by hand. Don't know how to do these corner pieces. I'm assuming they've got the same sorts of pillars as they've got down here, but they're just covered with these like weird looking tile things. Which are going to be a pain in the arse, I think, to do. So this piece and this piece are going to be very similar. That can be mirrored around. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Might just quickly... Let's just make this a bit more of a point, so that's easier to work with. That we're going to be replacing that top piece, like entirely, so that's fine. That's going to be wooden slats in there. Got to do the archway parts, which shouldn't be too difficult to do. Might try and do these beams in the corners just to get those out of the way. Should be able to put the 3D cursor selected, and then put one of these in and make that 9 instead. Make it a little bit more and more faces on it. And if I just make this a single beam to start with, and then work on it. Let me just shift that out just a tad. Again, these don't need to be too perfect. I'll try and position them so that when the archways go in, they line up kind of in the right places on them. Okay, let me just make that go into the roof a little bit. So they've just got little bits on the bottom essentially. So it's about there and there, and what I'll do is just extrude these out and extrude out this one just a little bit more than the others, and just do that just to make it look a bit more interesting. And I think I'll put one at the top as well. Whoa, not that big. Yeah, that can work. I might put that on its own object so I can just colour those all in. And yeah, just need to do this side. So that it's not overly detailed. I just need to make sure where all these are. So there's two, I think there's two here. I might put some there anyway. And just move those over. Make sure they're about the same sort of place. Get another one on that corner as well. Maybe want one down here. And just get some on these corners as well. And it looks like some sort of pillars on the front here. I think I'm just going to use the same ones to make my life easier. This looks a bit weird. Why is that? That's because of the positioning of these. Let me shift those out just a tad. Do the same with this one. I can sort of reposition these when I need to as well in a minute, when it comes to doing the archways. Let's delete that one, because what I'll do is grab these two instead and just shift those straight across. So they're the only ones you're going to see. No, I'll tell a lie, there's one more over there that you'll see. Again, it doesn't have to be too perfect, and then what I'm going to do is just scale these down so that they're a bit thinner, so you can actually fit through the door, because at the minute it looks quite a squeeze. Right, we're about there. I think I'll do the same. I just take these two over there instead. Median point, rotate around 90. And these ones can be scaled up a tiny bit in like that. And I'm just going to move those to the side a bit. Like I say, when I place the archways in, all of this might change a bit anyway, but this just gives me a guide to start with. So that's okay. I wonder if it is these sorts of things that are at the top here. Probably not quite the same. Probably a little bit thinner. If I put something here anyway, then I can mess around with it in a bit. I'll just try and position them the right way, then we're going to get the right sort of gap for the arches. Just move this one over here. So that one's a bit further in. Let me go onto this mode for a sec. Keep pressing the wrong keys. So that's fine about there. Say, I might be moving these as well, because at the minute it looks a bit weird, but once those tiles go on, it might hide some of this sort of weird looking effect. If not, then I'll have to rethink what I'm doing and just do different pillars instead. Just put like square ones in or something. It's making it look more like a solid building now, so that's a start. Let's do a save. Right, yeah, tiles are all going to be separate. And these roof parts, they're going to be easy to do. Maybe I should do these bits that have got like the rounded edges on them. Now, I don't know how difficult they're going to be to do. Let's have a look. So they sit just inside here, but in a different location to where these ones are. So if I was to put a thing there and extrude these faces, kind of ruins it a bit, but then that would be right. If I make that, let's do a copy and make that its own object. So then what I can do is try and think how to do this. If I grab this, copy them straight down so that that's the right thickness. The bits on the bottom are flat though, which means these need to go up like that. Get Again, it doesn't need to be too perfect. I'm hoping I can do something like this. If I put in, what, 10? And then they step down, don't they? They step down with like a curve. So it's almost like they come straight down and then curve off that way. So I'd need to put another... Not sure this will work how I want it to. So if that was there and there, and I did this... No, scale them inwards towards each other. So that it stays... no, that's still not quite right. Probably... yeah, not the best way of doing this. Let's just try with a few of them just to see how this will look. If I was to just grab a load of these and just move them downwards, then move them outwards, is that good enough? I suppose it has the right sort of effect, doesn't it? They might all be a little bit different, like each size might be slightly different, but it will kind of look like those ridges. So let's just go with it. Let's run with it, see what the whole thing looks like. If it looks shite, then I'll reconsider it, but if it looks alright, then we will go with it. Let's see. So it'll be all of these ones, all of these ones. I'm hoping once I've done this once, I can kind of just copy and paste it, even for the ones that are different sizes. And then we just scale them all inwards. And then move them all upwards. And then just round them all off. So the bottom ones are further out. Gotta head off, mate. Have fun, stream, everyone. No worries, mate. Thanks for coming by for a sec. Thank you very much. Hope you have a good evening. Hopefully the house stuff goes better. So if I did that, then they are now looking a bit more even. Maybe some of these ones down here need to come out back in a bit. Again, I'm not too fussed if they're not like perfect, but they need to be a little bit closer to get the right looking sort of effect. Right, we're almost there, I think. And yeah, I should just be able to then copy and sort of paste these with a bit of luck. And if I bevel these edges, then that gives them a slight rounded look to them. And then they look like that. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm happy with that, and I'm just going to go with it. We'll make it a little bit thinner than that, so that it just now slots in there. Like so. You can make that a little bit bigger than that. And just move it up. And hopefully that can just sort of slot into the roof itself. And then just hide out a view of the rest. And if I just move those up a bit, there we go. And then I can do the same sort of thing. I don't need to do it over the other side because you're not going to see them, but you've got 4 here. So if I just was to steal part of this and just repurpose it. Actually, I can afford to get rid of an extra one of them. Not too fussed if the numbers aren't all exactly the same as the model. The original one, that is. And then just scale this down and shift it out a bit. And then what I can do is Let's fill those gaps in there. Turn on snapping again, and I should be able to snap to this corner then. And fill that in, and then fill in that part. And do the same this side. And I'm hoping once I've done this just twice, that should be all I really need to for all the other ones then. Oh god, can't select the right one. There we go. So that looks like that. I might just move that up just a tad. No, turn off snapping now, don't need that anymore. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it gives the right kind of look for that area. And we've got one on the front here, and we've got one on the front down there, which I think are both the same amount of ridges, they're just different size ones, so... Just trying to think, if I copy the roof of this later, once I've done all of the work on it, make these things separately, and then I can just rotate that round so that that copies into the right place this side of that one. Or do I just do it now? Let's have a look. How does it line up with the one I've already made? It's quite close. I'll just leave it there for now, and I can come back to that in a bit. Alright, let's try and fit these on the front of these now as well. So I've got to make those a little bit more of an angle, and then just do something like that. Just scale it up and then outwards a bit. That's pretty much all that is, and then we just need another one on the front. It's a little bit smaller, and then a different shape again. This one's just taller. Looks so pretty. Oh, I'm glad you think so. I did find out that this is actually based off of a building that does still stand in, I think it is in Norway, which looks pretty cool. It's like an old church, I think. It's not quite as well kept as this one, but it's a pretty epic building. I'm going to be leaving this big gap at the bottom. I think there is like a building inside. I can try and recreate that effect later. So where are we at? We've done the little ridges. All of these parts are going to be done separately. These bits will be done separately on the edges. That will be kind of whatever comes of this. Love to go there, never been. Yeah, no, neither. I would like to go to Norway at some point. I don't think it's very far away from Oslo either. I mean, you could get to it from anywhere, I think, really, in Norway. Unless you go all the way really far north. I don't think it's kind of like right in the middle of it. But yeah, it looks like quite a cool little complex in this valley, surrounded by these massive mountains, and then there's this like sitting off the side of a road. So it's pretty cool. I'm not sure if it still gets used as a church. That'd be kind of cool if it does. But I did do a quick little bit of research just to see what this building was based off of, and it did come up. Bear with a sec. It is the... Hold on a second. Borgund Stave Church. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but... Hang on. So yeah, that's what it's based off of, which is pretty cool. Bear with a sec. Oh, just need to readjust. Stand up for a sec. Okay. So they're all on one object, so I could actually change those later. The roof of this does need to change. I know what I said earlier, but I might just make this its own thing. I just extrude this out and then just slightly extrude it either direction. And then there's going to be those weird tile looking things on the ends. And then just put a edge in the top, and I can just put that straight up so that it's more angled. I'll probably do the same here as well, actually. Oh no, I can't. Tell a lie. Might be worthwhile just slightly squashing those in a bit. Should be fine once I whack this on the top anyway. Should sort of sort most of its life out, but so that's good, and then that's going to be on the side, that other little building that I made earlier. Just do a save. So I do need to do the little things on the side. Let's just do them. So we've got 7 there, and we've got 7 there. 8 in there maybe. Got to try and recreate these bits now. The caps on the ends. Don't know what you'd call them. Don't know what the building term for them would be, but that's what I'm going with. They're probably all going to be different sizes, but that shouldn't be a problem. And with this one, I can do the same thing as I did before. Or do I need to do that? No, I don't even need to do that. I can actually just inset these. Like that. And just do that instead. And then that kind of gives that effect for that area already. So I've got that bit down there. Got these weird little tily bits. Probably worthwhile doing them before I do the main tiles on the roof. So probably the next thing to do is the arches, I reckon. Try and get those done, which is going to be a little bit of a faff, I reckon. They're going to need to be on their own object, I know that much. Right, I might be able to. There, we just need to do a little drawing. I'm hoping to use an array modifier, so if I have a single arch, but I'll need to make a pillar, but it'll need to be in half. That's how I'll do it, right. So we'll make the pillars first. I can actually just make this larger to start with. Can always scale it up and down. And we've got 2 little bits that are slightly bigger than the rest. Something like that. Just leave those sort of sharp edges, and then what we need to do is I need to redo that already. For this to work, I need the cylinder I make. It needs to be equal on all sides so that I can cut it down the centre. So essentially I want to make it as one thing to start with. And then I can just go through and cut one side off. Not like that, just the faces. By doing that, and then what I need to do is just fill this side in. So hopefully this is going to work how I intend it to. And then what do the archways look like? They've got kind of a little ridge, but then they're all solid at the top. So the way to do them is probably best to do a circle perhaps. If that's our little arch, go in the centre, grab a circle, and we want to put maybe, I don't know, 14 on it, just to make it have a few more than the others did. And I can cut this directly in half. Now I'm hoping, got to think how to do this. What's the best way? Get that down to there. You'll basically have two of these. Right, need to snap to the edges of this to make the top part, and then we just drag those straight up and fill that in. Fill the whole thing in, and then we just inset it. And then just drag these down to the bottom, and then this little bit that is on there can extrude outwards like that, and then this whole other part can extrude as well. Actually, you know what's best to do? Extrude the whole thing one way first, so it's got some thickness, and then we do that little part, and then just slot that roughly where it needs to go. And then that is our little archway, and I'm hoping I can use the array modifier to duplicate them over and over again. And the way I need to do that is, so the don't know what you call it, origin point is there. So I'm hoping if I do a save, let's make this smaller. I think all of these arches are going to be slightly like different heights and, well, definitely widths, so that they can fit in all these gaps properly. But I'm not too fussed, as long as it kind of represents what we've got there, then I'm good. So we need to go onto the modifiers, we need an array, so then you get that kind of look, and then you can just click it up and you get multiple arches. And I've just got to now try and fit all these in, basically. Hopefully I can keep the numbers somewhat right. I just might have to extend these up a bit. What I could do at the end is just bring this roof down a tad. I'm fine with doing that. So just want to copy and paste this a bunch of times really now, and then I can just up the number as I need to. As long as it looks okay from this angle, then I am happy. So And that's what I say, I need to probably move a few of these so that they look like they intersect better with the pillars. That's fine, we'll get there. This shouldn't take too long to do. I can just extend that way. And there we go, that's in about the right place. I'm not sure what the numbers are like on it. Is there 3 in between there and there? There is, so I'm kind of close with my numbers of how many there are. They're all going to line up, probably a little bit different than intended. Let's say it should do the effect okay. You won't be looking at it too close to really get look at it closely, sort of thing. So I should be able to put one in here. It should be about the same size as the others. I don't know what. Is there 2? Yeah, there is. Kind of 1.5, 1.5. So yeah, the estimate isn't too bad actually. Get another one in there. You find working in 3D so calming. Yeah, it is quite nice because it's almost like, not that I've really done a lot of it, but actual sculpting. Once I get the Fall Guys gifts done, I'm getting back to this. Yeah, you still working on your Red Dead one, yeah? I'm looking forward to seeing how that comes out, mate. Should be cool. Obviously, not that you're thinking about it at all, but you got any other 3D projects that you'd like to try and give a shot? Give a shot after you've done this one. Not that you're thinking that far ahead. So I've slightly ballsed up all the heights of some of these because they're not lining up with the roof properly, but I'm not too bothered about that because I'm going to should be able to extrude a bit of the roof down to try and fill that space. Let's copy one of them over there. For the sake of it, I'm going to copy one and put it over the back there, even though you won't really see it, but just in case you can catch it a bit. I haven't got any in here, so let's just get a single one there, and I'm going to smush this one up. So yeah, they're all different sizes, but they kind of do the right effect, so I'm not sure, man. I'd like to do something to do with Uncharted. Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe an object to practice shapes and sculpting more. Yeah, that'd be good. I feel like looking at the worlds in Uncharted, they're kind of overwhelming. Like if you were to look at Libertalia in Uncharted 4 and think, right, I'm going to try and build on these buildings, because they're all like falling apart and everything, like proper ruins. I bet they'd be quite difficult to do. You thinking about maybe doing like a prop then or something, as opposed to a location? Let's get those over there and get rid of them. And we can do the same thing there. That can come over a little bit more than that. That one is fine there. This one can come that way a bit. guessing there's probably 2 in this top part. Yep, there is, and then there's 2 on the end. Whoops. Then we count it down, not up. And we'll squish those up a bit as well. Not sure what their positioning is like. Yeah, that's not too bad actually. It's about the right place it needs to be. And then just 1 on the end here, which again can be extended out a bit, like so. And we just need 1 on the back here really because of the shadows on this. I expect, depending on what way round I put the lighting, I'm going to need to actually fill out this top part. So if I just do that, then it gives that illusion. And what I can do, do I just lower the entire top part? No, we don't want to do that. If I just lower the roof there, and then that gives the illusion that that's where it's meant to be all along. And then, oh, should have just got this bit as well. And I could probably do the same up here and just lower it down. Not sure if this one up here needs to go quite that low. No, it doesn't. But yeah, you shouldn't properly see that, but it's just so that I know it's there. So cool, that's looking pretty good. Quite liking that. It is an awesome building. Maybe I want to do that. I can't remember how you pronounce that, so I'm not going to butcher it. It's the dagger, isn't it? Is that Uncharted 2? But yeah, they're pretty cool. That would be cool to do. Right, the next thing to do is what I was doing before, because I didn't actually finish off doing, because I got distracted with this one. These little bits on the end. Which are, yeah, they're all going to be different sizes, but never mind. I can try and recreate how this one's meant to look, and I can do the same here and try and recreate how that one's meant to look. If I just roughly position these ones this side, I won't go across the whole back part, and we don't need to do the ones over here because you're never going to see those. And the rest are okay. So yeah, let's have a go at extruding all these little end bits to make those cap looking things. And hopefully this works out okay. And hopefully it don't look rubbish. Right, let me go into the main thing and just extrude. Whoa, no. Extrude only a tiny bit. Why is it moving so much? That's annoying. I'm even holding down. Right, just a tiny bit. Enough to just get the tiles in. I'm not going to properly be able to see how that looks until I put some lighting on, so I might quickly try and do that. While it's not too complicated, I can just go... Let's put a sunlight in and just go on here and scene lights and whatnot. And we get that kind of look. I think it will probably do. Again, like what I always say, it doesn't have to be too perfect, I don't think. Furby. Yep, the dagger, yeah. Cool. I like. I can probably leave that on actually. It's so much cooler when you put lights on. But let me turn them off because I can actually see this easier. What's next? probably these top parts, the caps on the tops of all these roofs. If I do them, and then I can do these side pieces that are all these like weird little jangly tiles. And once they're done, I suppose I should have a go at doing the tiles, but I really don't know if that's going to be interesting to watch on stream. It depends what, yeah, we'll see what time it is. I usually do about 2 hours, so we've got half an hour left. See what time it is then. Okay, so let's do these little cap bits on the top. So all of these little arches and that, they're all the same across all of them. So I'm thinking, do I just... If I make one, and then I should be able to just reuse it over and over again. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So if I was to just do here, and grab these, and slightly just extrude it first, and then we can do this, and we can do that. And how far do they come over the edge? Quite a lot, actually. Probably about at least that. And if I just make the top part go up higher, and they're not quite as thick as this, although no, they're quite thin, so if I just bring that back down again, and I think I'm going to make that its own object and edit it in there then. Cool. Then we need like a plank on the top of it, so what we'll do is just do this and just make a very thin thing on the top that's sort of that size. And if I make this entire thing slightly longer and then back again, I can shift that as I need to. Then we've got these little things across the top. I really don't know what these little wooden things are. I can't really figure out what they are. Even looking at the actual building, it sort of confused me a bit. I might even have a quick look at it, just a second. Bear with me just a minute. So it's the Orgund Stave Church, and they're like a little spiky looking thing. There's no pictures of it close up of what they are. They're like a slotted piece of wood into another piece of wood. Okay, there's what they are. Okay, well, on the actual church they're pretty complex looking. I ain't going to do them that complicated. I'll just replicate the shape and be done with it. Yeah, okay, I'll do those last in this little section. So what I need to do next is, this will be on another separate object. I need a circle, and I can make this less, and just I need to basically make those little arch shapes. And then what I'm going to do is add a skin modifier to them so that they look more like they do on here. Now I just need to double them up a bit. If I go a bit further than what's needed, probably make them a little bit smaller than that. Yeah, maybe that sort of size instead. And then yeah, I'm going to make it go into the roof this much, because then depending on how the others turn out, I can cut off what's not needed. So that is fine. Just need to get rid of the doubled up vertices and then just shift out this side a little bit so it's Yeah, about there. And then now, if I go on to, if I select all of these, add a skin modifier, and we should have loads of little arches which look cool. Make those a little bit smaller. These look quite nice. So we get that sort of effect. Let's do a save. So yeah, we're going to be copying these, and then it's just the little the thing on the end I need to make, the strange shape thing. So let's have a go at modelling that. It could be something really obvious and I just can't figure out what it is. So kind of goes up. What's been your hardest build, Jace? Oh wow, that's a big question. God, I'm trying to think now. Everything I've done with the Age of Empires has been okay so far. I know that now I've started doing the wonders. Probably one of the wonders will be the hardest thing, no doubt. But so far, I mean, those Tomb Raider ones, some of them are pretty difficult. Maybe that one with St. Paul's in it. But then it wasn't too bad because all I had to do was make like a load of things once and then just use all the modifiers to rotate things around and all that sort of stuff. So even that wasn't too bad. I'm trying to think, there has been something I've really got stuck on. I'm trying to think, I did all the James Bond stuff. Ah, yeah, no, definitely the when I did the James Bond series, the You Only Live Twice model, which is the volcano base, that was pretty difficult because I had to, in reality, the roof would have been flat, but because of the angle you were looking at it at, I had to make the angle sloped, and then I had to put like a mountain that made it like look fake in the background. If you saw the actual model, you know what? Actually, let's just quickly. I think I have it here somewhere. I can just shatter reality and just show you how rubbish it actually looks when you see it from a different angle. Bear with. I think I still have it. I know that I accidentally overwrote one of them. Let's have a look. I think this is it. Hopefully it'll pop up. No, that's the On Her Majesty's Secret Service one, which is the one that I did overwrite, so that's the wrong one I clicked on. It is... Where is it? I'm sure it's here somewhere. Unless I have lost it. I didn't think I did. Or I'm just blind. No, I don't know. You only live twice. Come on. Right, okay, so it has opened. Hang on a sec. If I minimise that one, will it come up? Let me just quickly save my one I'm working on. See if it pops up. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, this one's probably one of the hardest ones I've had to do because the roof's like the shape and everything, and trying to get these right and the lights in the right place was a right pain in the arse. And then yeah, it's funny because when you look at it from the camera you can see this little mountain in the background, but then when you look at it from the back and you see what it's actually like, and it's just this big mess of rocks. But yeah, that was definitely a tricky one to do. It took a lot of figuring out. yeah, I do think that these wonders will probably be one of the hardest ones that I'd work on. Just checking out these museums. Vienna has a massive turtle. I didn't see the massive turtle. I will have to have another look. When we do this, do you want to do like how we did before, in the sense of, you know, not necessarily making the maps for people to follow, but having it so that there's, you know, finding certain places in the museum and then finding the links for them, so that people have something to follow? Oh, this isn't that great. If I was to get another one of those and then grab these two and move them up that way, then we get that little curve in, which is what I want. And I'm just gonna do that. That way it just looks slightly more like it does on here. And then it just needs to be, this whole thing needs rotating a bit. Well, that scared the hell out of me. Someone just screamed outside. Fun times. I'm trying to figure out like what, and then that bit goes straight outwards. So this bit here needs to be a lot longer. More like that, I think. Because then you've got the two kind of spikes. I know you can't see the reference picture I'm looking at, but I'm going to try and sort of roughly replicate it. So you have that bit, and then there's like a chunk off the top part here. So if I rotate that way, and then I can do that, and it kind of looks that sort of shape. Yeah, I'd say it's something like that. To make this look a little bit more interesting, I might just quickly add a bevel to some of these edges. It's a bit more of an interesting looking thing then. Although that has had a right meltdown here. Let me just fix this. Oh, once we're done this, I can just copy and paste them anyway, so it's all good. Merge it first. No, merge it last then. Merge last. No. Grab that one, merge it first. Last. Right, fixed. Cool, I think that will do for those. Are they that sort of size? Yeah, probably. How does it look in isometric? Yeah, I think that'll look cool. I like. So, you know what I might just quickly do is just colour those in a bit. Add some, just throw some colours on it. Try and find a nice orangey sort of woody colour. And we'll make that a little bit of a different colour. And then that can be the same colour as that, which is material 1. Hopefully there won't be too many colours in this. And I can just play around with these at the end. So now what I can do is just copy and paste these put them in the right place. Get them with the right sort of overhangs. Only thing I will need to do this side is cut off some of these, otherwise that'll ruin the effect a little bit. And just bring that back to sort of there. And we just got the one on top as well, which if I just grab all of these and move these up, even though they're intersecting a little bit weirdly, if I just get rid of this one, move that along, squish these down a bit, have a little bit of a overhang again, and we can do the same thing with this and just get rid of those ones from there onwards, and then just move these back again, and they just are tucked inside like that. It's looking a lot more interesting with those on it now. They're probably a bit too big in comparison to how they are on there, but I'm fine with that. And we just want to put some on the tops of these ones as well. Around here. And have those overhang as well a little bit. Don't know about how much, not a lot actually. Those overhang a lot less. Are you going to see those in there? No, that's fine. No, not bother cutting those off then, that's fine. Happy to leave those as is. And we can do the same there. And these spikes look similar to this one up here, so I might just copy these. I might just copy this one. Duplicate it and move it over here. Scale it up a little bit and just shove that on the end there. It's not quite perfect. And we can do the same here. And get that about right. It's there or thereabouts. Cool, we are getting somewhere with this now. Let's do a save. So that is quite a lot of it done. I know that I've done this gap here too small to allow for these doors, so I don't know whether to bother trying to do them or not. Double doors in a gap that small might look a bit weird. Suppose I could do one door. They look similar. But then I can't really tell where's inside. Okay. That's not too bad. We're getting there. All these frilly bits are done. That's the word I was looking for earlier. They should be easy enough to put in here. What I might need to do is select all these first, or just a few of them, and then I just need to slightly inset them. Let's just grab some of these. The only annoying thing is where it's gonna grab the other ones instead. That's fine. And then we just need to put the sort of hashed looking bit in there. And I'm going to do that by stealing this. And we just need one. Oh, that was pointless. Basically, I just need to make a load of diamond shapes. Which shouldn't be too bad to do, I hope. Let's take off the skin modifier for a minute so that doesn't have a meltdown. And then all we need to do is shunt this over. How do I do this? Basically, you want every other one to line up with the other. Could probably do this roughly by eye. Actually, you know what? Let me just if I rotate the whole thing by 45 degrees, get rid of these bits. No, keep those bits. It's not going to work because it's not a square, that's why. Let's just put a plane in. Rotate that by 45 degrees on Y, and we can subdivide it, and we can stretch it. And then just get rid of these bottom vertices. Get rid of the only faces. And then do what we did before. Whack a skin modifier on it so that it looks like almost a frame. And then just try and slot that in here. Which I think has just about worked. It's got a colour on it. Didn't intend for it to have that yet, but what colour is it? A grey colour. We can do that. Okay, we're getting somewhere slowly. I think I probably should do these awkward little tile things on the corners next, how am I going to do them? Because they need to be on the corners, but an angle so that they can all slot on top of one another. I think it's probably best if I use an array to do these as well. Let's just start messing around with something and see where we get to. Oh god, I can't think how to do this. Let me just... something like that. No. Let's put the 3D cursor there, and then we can rotate around the 3D cursor by 90 degrees, and then that's perfect either side. Which is what we want. And then they're they're like an arrowy type shape. So the top part will be a square shape. And then that soon becomes an arrowhead-like shape. Where it's sort of down the side of it, like that sort of shape. And then if I was to extrude this out, then that gives some thickness to it. But then how do you layer these on top of one another so that it looks like a tile? That is the question. I think that's the right shape. Because you've got those there as well. So, back mates, sorry, phone call. That's alright, no problem. It's all good. Glad you think it's looking okay. I'm kind of at the, I think, the tedious parts now. So I don't know really how I'm going to continue as such. I don't really want to make all the tiles on stream because I think they'll be really, really dull to watch. But yeah, I'm going to try and do these bits at least. So I probably need to think about trying to get some of the colours on it soon as well. What do we bloody pick? Oh, bugger. This should give these tiles a little bit of roundness to them. Is that the best way of doing that? No, it's not. Let's select the outside instead and then drag those backwards with a lot of... Right, it only needs a slight, just a tiny little nudge. And then yeah, I still don't know how to do these corner ones. Oh, you picked some good museums. I didn't read that. I just read what do we bloody pick, just randomly. I'm glad you think I picked some good ones. Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. I think, was it the Museum of Houston and the Museum of... the one in New York? I think they both have pretty decent ones. To be honest, they all do, don't they? That's the problem. I probably need to do another little check on them, see what else we can do. So if I was just to do that... Nah, it's not going to work, is it? How is this going to work? They're so complicated, but not complicated. Because it needs to be equal across the whole thing, but... Okay, if we rotate it... Right, let's try and use the grid to help me here. So if I let me line that up perfectly. And we rotate it that way. So the bottom bit there is the middle of the next one, so... Like I know what I'm talking about. So if I was to do the same here, and do that... In theory, now when you lower these straight down, they sit on top of one another, but they're on the angle. Which is exactly what I need. Is it enough of an angle though? Let me have a look at these again. Yeah, it'll do, I reckon. You stretch those out a bit so that it'll end up sitting about there. I need to stretch this one out in that case because they both need to be about the same. So this one's fine, I can do that easily enough. The ones on the corners are going to be an absolute pain in the arse. Right, let's have a go at making this an array. And it's going to be 0 in that direction, but it's going to be 1 in the X direction. Yeah, wrong one, that one. But minus 1, but not quite that much. It needs to be very precisely placed about there, and then if you just double these up, then we get these nice corner tiles, like so. So right, that is sort of working how I needed it to. And now we just need to place them all on the bloody roof. Um, let's put this colour on them because it's about the same, which is just a material. Because I can't be asked, as per, to name my colours. And then let's try and position this in the right place. Let me make a duplicate so in case I cock it up completely. I've just got to try and fit this in the right place now. And how much further? It kind of overlaps the roof a bit as well. So if I was to look at it from this angle and then just sort of sit it on the roof there. But it gets tucked underneath those pieces, doesn't it? So that's a problem. Or is it? Yeah, it is, because then there's not going to be much room for the tiles. Okay, that's about right. Let me just move it out so it is just under the tile. And then that will do. How do they overlap at the top? Because they're going to be quite close to one another, and you can't really see it. I suppose it won't matter too much. If I just put it up there, add another few tiles on it, and then that gives us basically what we were after. Now I've just got to do that lots of times. New York is incredible. I went around it and it's stunning. I want to go back and draw there. I'm gutted that I didn't. We went to New York a few years ago, and that's one of the only places we didn't go to. I didn't even like. I'm usually pretty good with knowing where museums and landmarks and stuff are. We did everything but that. So I don't know how that sort of escaped me, to be honest. But never mind, hopefully we'll go back to New York one day. I do like it there, it's pretty cool. This is going to need to be mirrored because it won't work as a... Oh god, right. I need to... Yes please. What's that? New York. I want to go back even more because I think it's Hudson Yards has opened, which is a... I believe it has... There's a new skyscraper at Hudson Yards that's opened, and it's taller than the Empire State Building, and I think its top floor's higher than the one in the World Trade Center as well. And it has the highest glass floor of anywhere in the world. It's got like this balcony that juts out, and then there's just a big glass floor in it. It looks really cool, so I want to go there as well. It was being built when we last went there, so... Any museums in Vegas? Bring your sketchbook. I think the Mob Museum is probably the main one there. Let's shift that up slightly. And let's inset that just at... No. Oh, this is going to be a pain in the arse, isn't it? So I need to readjust where these are sat because they sit too low on the roof. Because this needs to sit up high enough that there's still space for the other tiles to fit. At the same time, they still need to sit underneath this ridge. So it is a bit of a pain in the arse. And then we can just whack these up. So if I do all of these corners first, and then I can mirror these in a mo. I'm actually quite happy that, you know, touch wood, this is working so far. Museum of Casinos, Museum of Little Chapels, Museum of Diners, Yath Queen. Yeah, Vegas is pretty good. I mean, yeah, I really want to go to, oh, where do I want to go? I want to go to, oh, I can't think what it's called, Bryce Canyon, and Zion National Park, I think it is. Now that we've done the Grand Canyon. Yeah, I really want to go to San Francisco as well. So many places. I honestly hate looking at my Google Maps because I've just marked everything on there that I want. I'm like, yep, I want to go to all of these places. And I'm just thinking, like, when am I actually going to get around to going to them all? I hope that I get to, but... yeah. I'm sure there'll be a few solo trips. Why isn't this working? What am I doing wrong? LA has never interested me. There's so much more in Las Vegas than people think there is as well. Oh, that looks amazing. We can go full Red Dead Redemption 2. Exactly. Been 4 times and I was looking at dreaming about going again at the weekend. Take your cowboy hat. Exactly. It's funny because when we went to Vegas at the end of 2018, it was when I was playing Red Dead. So, yeah, as soon as we got there, I was like, oh wow, it's just like being in like the south part of the map that you get to at the end, where Red Dead 1's based. This isn't working. What's happening? Why are you not working? Why do you hate me? Let me take that off. Array modifier. Okay, I can see you now. You're going the wrong way. It's downwards we want to go. And you're going the wrong way again. Why isn't that going to work? It should be going straight down. Hang on, if I edit this one, then it should sit behind... ah, there we go. Why didn't I have to do that on the last one? Weird. Not a clue. Let's sit that just up there. Okay, and then we just do that. Down lots of times, and then that'll be the ones on these 2 endpoints. And they don't need mirroring, they can just be repositioned, which is fine. Let's make them the right colour. Material. Steps in Vegas, imagine lol, Paul Jason. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, no, to be honest, yeah, Vic would just go on her own, which is fine. We did speak about that when we were actually there. It's like, oh, if you want to do your own thing, you can do your own thing. Shite. I don't really like how that looks in the roof. Looks a bit weird. Maybe if I just sit it off the roof a little bit. I don't want it to be above that though. What if I flatten it? Usher's there for 7 years in residency, so we're going to go again. Oh, really? That's cool. What happened to Usher? Is he okay? I see why you like Houston, Jason. All those dinosaurs. Exactly, there's the dinosaurs. Also, you can't walk around it, but in outside Calgary, there is a museum that's just dedicated to like dinosaur fossils, and it looks very much like the museum from Last of Us 2. But you can't walk around that, sadly. But it does look good. Hello, Shambingo. You guys should have gone to see the Backstreet Boys residency. Even though that slightly overlaps, I might just leave it. It's getting late now and I'm still here. I'm gonna have to speed up a bit. I done that? It's just underneath that lip. Sorry, I'm gone quiet now. So if I just do that, are you even going to see the other ones the other side? You might do. Right, what I can do, let's just... Oh, I could use a reference point to rotate it around, but let's just try and do it by hand because I like to make life hard for myself. That just needs to sit under there, so that is now in the right place. And we can just do the same here. And I need to get mirroring those other ones at the top. Need to get on with this. Like so. That looks cool, that's fine. Is there any other of these little bits? There is, there's some on the corners there. Fuck. That's fine, I can just use those instead. Yeah, it's fine. Nothing to worry about. Right, I need to apply, apply, apply. And now we need to get the 3D cursor in the centre of the building, which it is. Now I should be able to just whack a mirror modifier on this. Oh, I need to set origin to 3D cursor, set origin to 3D cursor, set origin to 3D cursor. And should be able to just mirror all of these over. Not that way. That way. That's not worked, has it? Why has that not worked? Why has it put it all the way down there? Huh. Because that's where it's in line with. Oh no. I really don't want to place these by hand. I would have gone, Jace would have just been at the tables all night. That's very true. Yeah, I would have just been playing blackjack. That's really annoying. So this isn't going to work how I wanted it to because of things and stuff. Let me just try that again. So if I try and mirror it in X, it goes over that way, which is not what I want. But if I mirror it in... No, that is right, isn't it, though? But we want it the other way round. This is really annoying. Maybe I will just need to do these by hand. You take the mirror off. Set the origin back there again. And what I need to do is make it the right sort of angle. And I need to rotate it around like that. By 90. Okay, yeah, it's not too bad. It's a bit of a pain in the arse that I have to do this manually, but it'll work all the same. Is that rotated about right? Maybe a little more than that. Trying to just see where things end up. It's probably about there. Don't really want it sticking through the wood like it has done this side, which is kind of annoying. It doesn't need to be too perfect this side because there isn't going to be any tiles this side, because screw doing it both sides. Oh, this is really annoying. I only need... Oh, I shouldn't have applied the array modifier because I could have just used that one as a master copy. Oh, that's rubbish. Right, I need to turn that around by 180 so that it's in the right place, and then I need to rotate it by 90 and then 90 again. No, why isn't it working? Z, 90. And one more time. Right. Okay, that's in roughly the right place. Yep, we're good with that. Gonna do the same with this one. Right, set origin to geometry, rotate around 180, then rotate Z. What's between 360 and 180? Is it 270? It is. Sweet. We can put that about there. And then all we need to do is just rotate them around. So grab those, rotate around 180, and then I should be able to just place them if I've done my job right, which I've not. Is just put them where they need to be. Which is a bit of a weird place. Not quite done this right. As long as I can get the tiles in, then we should be all good. Which I think we can still. Okay, so that's most of the weird roof stuff done. There is just the last few corner pieces to do. So let's just do a copy. And those corner pieces are these here. If I view this from above and put the X-ray on, I should be able to see where those areas are, which I can't. Oh, it's there. I need to leave a little bit of a gap so I can put some planks of wood in. I think I might have got the girls on board with Houston, Jace. Oh, cool. Are they interested then? They had a look. It does look cool though. Say, I think no matter which one we do, there's going to be something to draw in all of them, isn't there? Cool, we'll do that there. That's those areas done. That just leaves these corner pieces that are a lot bigger because they need to cover up these pillars so that they don't look as rubbish. We can get rid of some of those. That's fine in that corner. I'm gonna just do that and just be lazy and just put that there. Hopefully it doesn't look completely... No, it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad. I just sent a few photos of cats. Cats and pots. They are excited. Sounds good. I'll have a look at those in a moment. So that's fine. We need just one on that corner and we just need one on this corner here. Like so. Just enough to sort of cover them up a bit. Which it won't cover it up much from this angle, but you still get that nice jaggedy effect. Let's delete that one and just copy this one instead. Yeah, I've got to get a move on, haven't I? Because I'm yeah, way over my time. I might as well carry on until I'm done anyway, though, because I'm getting there. I think I will do the tiles off stream. I don't think they're going to be that exciting to watch. I don't know what these are in here, actually. I've only just noticed them. Shite. That's a pain. I wonder if I could just get away with putting that in there. and using a different colour. No. There's no point in rushing it. Might as well do it properly. Which is just a load of diamond-shaped tiles in there, basically. So I think I need to do that kind of the same way I approached the other thing, like the grid on the front. Rotate it X 45 degrees, and then we want to get rid of the bottom one. No, we don't. We want to subdivide this up quite a lot. Is that amount enough? Probably is enough. And if we just get a view from the side, I can try and position this where it needs to go. Something along the lines of that, and then just get rid of all these bottom ones, and then just fill them back in again. And then what I can do is do it the same way I did the wooden slats earlier, by slightly insetting all of the faces a little bit, extruding them all out, going on individual origins and rotating them along the y-axis. Then that makes them almost look like they're kind of on top of one another, and then that just needs to slot in the roof. Like that. And that will probably do for how that looks. This is again, I don't really want to make them all the same colour. Let me just throw a few different colours at it so that it's not all the same. It's close to that other colour, but not quite. Even if it looks exactly the same for now, that's fine. Let me just put a colour on the actual thing itself as well, which can be the tiles are going to be dark themselves, so it probably needs to be this sort of colour. Which, again, is nothing like what I've just made. Somewhere around there, perhaps. And then there's a few more like orangey planks in between everything. These can be a slightly different colour. Again, quite similar, but just slightly different. Let's save this. Oh, this is coming out not too bad. I quite like this. All these pillars, they can probably be one of these colours I've already built, already made. Maybe this lighter one, 6. And the arches can all be that colour as well, actually. Which annoyingly, because I made them all separate objects, I have to go through and place all of those individually. That was silly of me. This is looking pretty cool though. I'm liking this so far. It was 6, wasn't it? I'm not just started doing the wrong colour. No. Yeah, I don't know whether to bother with that door or not, you know. Just don't look at it from this side because it looks turd. Try and get all these colours on. Yeah, probably all a bit too light. But again, once they're placed, I can then just tweak them off stream if I need to try and match them up a bit better. And then yeah, once certain bits have been placed that I've still not done, they'll be looking better anyway. So yeah, these in here can be a lighter colour, and in here and down the bottom. Which I don't know how to do just yet. Got all of those little bits on there, all those bits on there, all the weird bits on the roof are now done. Let's have a look at this little section down here, this little thing. Part of this has got that more like orangey wood on. Let's just assign that colour to it. Yeah, it looks better. I do prefer that. Probably not giving myself the easiest of tasks to try and go through and change all these colours now. Or at least just change a few of them. I can make this just a dark wood colour as well in there. Might make that much darker. Yeah. So looking at that, where do these colours, where do they all come in? Mostly this part of the bottom is that kind of colour, which means this part at the top here would also be that sort of colour, which I should be able to do with easily enough. Just should be able to just select all of these and just change it. Didn't mean to change that little pillar there. Is that okay? Maybe just change some of these. I think once the darker colours are in as well, that'll help things a bit. Yeah, there's not much else. Maybe this bit up here is that colour. Yeah, that's that sort of colour as well. As is this building up here. Again, I might do those planks as actual individual planks on there. Same with these as well. And the ones down the bottom. Yeah, that lighter colour I can make a little bit darker. And that grey can be a bit darker as well. So it almost so it fits in a little bit better. Those tiles in there can probably be that colour, which is just material. And then that can be tweaked a bit. And then yeah, there'll be all the dark parts on there anyway. Let me grab this little part. I said I was going to copy that for that top bit, so we'll do that now to get that on there. And of course, that didn't rotate the right way around. And we'll just slot that where it needs to go. Like that. These sides are a bit thicker on this one, so I can just bring those in by scaling those like that. And the colours on this one just need tweaking just a little bit so that they match either side, and a little bit down it's changing to that colour. This is looking so good. Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this. It's turned out pretty cool. It's kind of still looking a bit bare, I think, because I've not done the tiles on it. That's why I'm still really in an hurry about it. One thing I can do is probably add the accent of colour that's needed for the colour that you choose in game. And I can just make that whatever colour really. I could do it as that purpley colour. Not too sure about that though. Red looks kind of cool. Again, I can play with that later. Okay, we're about there with most of the stuff on this. What's the time? past. I might just quickly try and get some of these planks on here so that this looks a bit more interesting to look at, where it's quite bare on these flat surfaces. I wanted to put some planks in so I can use an array modifier to do these probably. And then they just need to be that really orangey colour. That will just break up that bit there a little bit. And I can do the same here and just place those in roughly where they need to go. And there are some horizontal ones in there as well, but I'm not as bothered about those. But I might just put one horizontal piece in so that it breaks up where that changes. Set the origin to the geometry. God, I can't speak. And we'll just put that there. Again, yeah, just to break that up a bit. And what I might do is just grab this one and put it in here. Again, just to make that look a bit more interesting to look at. I could maybe put a few of these in, but then it starts looking a bit weird. I could probably just do this. Just do it the sort of lazier way. That gives them a few planks of wood, and then we can do it along all of these side pieces as well. And then I will, as well, probably to finish the stream, just do something with the ground and make like a little base for it. And I say, I think I'll do the tiles off stream before I do the final render of it. That's fine. Just roughly place all of these in. And again on the end there. Add one extra plank. I suppose I could add some just quickly, because that's easy to add those inside. Just do it like that. And the same over there as well. And then just add up the count, so it's not just the same sort of texture inside. Obviously it's like a wooden floor in there. Could probably use this as the floor as well actually, so that looks a bit more interesting to look at. Just do something like that. Hopefully that's kind of hidden enough that you won't really see it. I could do the same on the ground floor as well. To just break up the floor area. Add up that, and I can just move this over here. And I'll just scale that across the whole room. And then these other areas can just be grass, I suppose. Just gives it a little bit of an inside. It definitely looks better with these just laid out on here. Right, where else has it got these? Just down the bottom parts then, I think, isn't it? A little bit around the top here. Tiny bit around this top part. Just scale that down a bit. Can't really see that. There we go. Do the same here. Again, I won't bother doing the other side. And I'm going to grab these as well and just move them down here. So I should be able to reuse them here. Maybe not quite as well. Maybe just get rid of those two and just put one in here. Across that area. So that's a bit different to look at. I don't know, unless I do just yeah, place them manually. And then just scale them all down. It does look better than just that plain colour, I think. Just helps to bring it a little bit more to life. And we'll do the same up here as well. Just copy those over. Should be able to put them in here and just scale those down until they sort of fit in the right place. Scale them all up just a little bit. I don't really want the ends poking out. Yeah, it's fine. Get another save on there. And we'll grab these as well, and we'll put those on the front piece as well, down here. And then it's just the bottom area. It just needs these planks on, and then we are pretty much good to go. And yeah, I just want to quickly do something with the ground around it. Make some sort of little plinth for it to sit on. And then I'll let you lovely people go, because you've been here for ages now. Honestly, I think this is probably one of the easier of the Age of Empires wonders as well, so the fact that the rest are going to be just harder from here on out, that fills me with a lot of hope, getting them done in a single stream. So I can always build the more interesting bits on stream and then just leave the other bits to do off, so that it's not just completely tedious. Right, that's all of the side pieces that way round done. Just need one over here. Yep. Now I just need these little insert pieces. Which just need to go in here and here. And we need one in there. One over this side, because you'll see that bit. I don't think you'll see the other one. Nope. And we just want some on the front here. And finally, we want just on the little bits where you see inside. So we want one here. And maybe one over there. Bringing me back to my house, copy, paste, drag, save. Honestly, that is, yeah, when you get your system down, that's essentially it. Don't like this colour. That doesn't look right at all. Needs to be redder, but not that red. I don't really know. This is very hard to get these colours right. It looks a bit weird like that. If I replace, what is this colour? It's just material, so let me just replace material 5 with material. That'll make the whole thing a lot brighter. That's good, because then I can just do the colours for the tiles. Which are going to be whatever colour. I think these tiles here are a darker colour. So I'm just going to quickly change those. To that nice reddier colour. The ones at the bottom are a bit lighter. Probably get away with them being that colour. These beams themselves might need to be that orangey colour. Actually, I quite like that, even if it's not exactly how it is. I quite like how it sort of finishes it off a little bit more. Probably make them that colour as well. Yeah, I quite like those colours. And then, yeah, the tiles will all be dark. So let's do a save. And then let's just try and quickly do a, let's grab the middle. Get a cube. Make some sort of square shape. Try and level this off a bit. And what I need to do is I need to subdivide this up a lot, not that much, and triangulate faces. Please work and don't crash. Come on. Very good. Let's do a save because that panicked me for a minute there. And we just want to grab a bunch of these vertices and we want to go on to proportional editing, random, and scroll out, and that should roughen up the ground. Not too much. Yeah, that's fine. We just need to level that off in the right place inside. Probably need to change that where it comes through the wood, because that looks a bit shite. So let's just quickly change that. How are we doing for time? Oh, it's not too bad. I'll try and get finished for 10. Yep, and you can see all that wood in there nicely. I will probably decorate this with a bunch of the stuff that I've already built on the other Age of Empires models. But again, I'll probably do that off stream, but I will just try and get some of this done. Let's add a greeny colour. Actually, you know what, let me just quickly save this. Let me try and find my other Age of Empires file, because I'm going to copy the ground that I used for that one. Is it this one? Yes, I think it is. So let's just steal that. Steal the snow that I made for the East Asia house as well. And if I paste that in here, then we kind of already have what I need. So I can get rid of that and just use this little base that I've already got and just scale it up a bit. Just try and get it in about the right looking sort of place. And just raise it up. I suppose technically the snow wouldn't be inside, but just do a little bit of snow. Just a little bit of it. What I can do now is make the whole model smaller so that it fits in the camera. Just get that about central. Lovely. And just to speed things up a bit, I'm going to steal some things from my other model, so I can get things moving along a bit with this. Just a few trees and bits like that, like some rocks and some bushes, and then hopefully I can just sort of, let's have a look what we've got here. So some big rocks around this. And just try and make them roughly the right sort of shape for what we've got here. It won't be perfect, that's for sure, but just copy and paste this loads of times and just sort of try and deform it a little bit. So you get all these like little different areas jutting out and whatnot. And just rotate it over and over again to get some different shapes and stuff. Just copy those and make those littler. And put those in there. The same thing. Just scale these ones up. Whoa, didn't mean to do that. Just really make it rocky around the edge. Makes the whole thing look a little bit more interesting. Probably don't need this one, so I can probably just use these. So I join those together, get rid of that one, and then just copy these a load of times. Just put them roughly in the right place, and then just sit them around. Not exactly on anything or anything like that, just around the right sort of area. And same over there. And there's some there. A few over this corner as well. few by that first door, and there's a few over the back here as well. Some by this door, and a few more over here. Just rotate and scale up and scale down and whatnot. Floaty foliage, exactly. I think if I sort of pack enough of it together, it can work. Something like that. Right, that is about there. Other than, yeah, the janky roof tiles that I've got to do. Make a quick ground plane. Just put that about there. And I always go for a bluey colour, because that's just what I do. And I just want to add some lights inside. It's a nice warm glow. Do the same up there as well. And just quickly do a few ready looking ones as well. Just to make it look nice and cozy. Let's do a save. What I can probably do is just quickly from my other scene, as I did before, just grab a few characters and plonk them about. How big they'd need to be, maybe that size. Maybe a little bit smaller than that, maybe around that sort of height. Always like adding little figures, just makes it a bit more alive. She's going out on a hunt. Bare feet in the snow, as you do. Do another little character with some meat there. Yep. And I might just quickly steal some bits and bobs from one of my other ones. Or do I just leave it for now? Yeah, I might do. Just quickly try and how are we doing for time? Yeah, about on track. So I'm just going to change the colour of where the tiles are going to go, because then it'll probably make the whole thing look a bit more like how it will do when the tiles are on it. And then I'm going to call it a night. So I've kind of finished it in a single stream, but yeah, there's a little bit more work to be done. Before I can say I've actually finished it. And this just wants to be a dark browny colour, isn't it? Again, that like reddy brown. Yeah, maybe that sort of colour. It looks pretty jarring like that. But I think once the tiles are on it, it'll look a bit more natural to have it that way. And let's do some stuff with the lighting. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I'm going to just quickly do a save, and then let's just see what it looks like when it'll be rendered properly, as long as it doesn't decide to crash. Is it going to crash? Doesn't seem to like it. Put it in cycles, that might help. Go on. What does it look like? Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, I think it's not turned out too bad. I think, yeah, I definitely want to do the tiles, because I really don't like how it looks at the minute. It looks too plain. I might try and put some textures on, like a noise texture on some of the wooden panels to make them look a bit more natural as well. And I think this whole scene needs dressing with some like just different bits and pieces, but other than that, I think we are about there. Oh, it does look kind of cool. What's it look like from like the set angles? That's pretty cool. Looks a bit weird from that side. I suppose in reality it'd be kind of mirrored over the other side, so it'd be a bit bigger than this. But yeah, I should probably call it there, because I don't know how long it's going to take me to do the tiles. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to take me to do the tiles, and I think I've probably added a few too many lights in the inside, because when I render it, it looks like really, really bright, and I only want it to just be just a bit subtle. So I might need to change that as well. Oh, one quick thing. Let me just... Yeah, it will definitely look better when the tiles are done. It'll just break up all of these big open spaces where there's no textures on. And then the way that the light will cast on it and everything will look much better. Yeah, I get that. I need to chat to you about adding texture and stuff to wood. That's fine. I mean, I can't. I don't know how to do like wood texture itself, but I know how to mess around with some of the things to make like a noise texture, which is what the grass has on it. So it's got a green and a like lighter green colour where it's kind of merged. So yeah, bravo, claps. Thank you very much. So Yas, thank you very much for joining me on this very long stream. Well, I say very long, it's nowhere near as long as some people's, but yeah, I'm quite happy I managed to get it pretty much done in one go. I'll do the tiles off stream probably at some point tomorrow, and then I'll get this posted on my Twitter, I should think. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me, and I shall catch you all again soon.